Before I showed up here, my life was chaos, just really chaotic. I couldn't get anything done. I spent most days just tweaking out, in my ex girlfriend's apartment. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any self worth. I was just really depressed. I wasn't a member of society. I started using when I was 18 and never stopped. The way it made me feel, I enjoyed it, and it took away some of, I think, the things that I was dealing with. It took away my insecurities and it helped me cope with reality. The week of me coming to the nest, I was struggling really bad. I had, I nobody wanted to be around me. I'd pushed everybody away. Anybody that cared about me, I'd used them or manipulated them, and just, I was terrible to be around. No one wanted to be around me. I'd made a doctor's appointment because I kept telling my ex girlfriend that I was going to seek help. I'm going to. She'd be like, "Dude, you gotta do something. You got to get out of here." Like like I care about you, man, but this she had been telling me to leave for almost a year, and I just kept, forcing myself on her and trying to stick around and make something happen that was never going to happen. Finally, I had told her that I was going to get some help 2 or 3 times. I had even called the nest 2 or 3 times, spoke to the intake team. They told me to come on up here, that there was a bed waiting on me. They wanted to help me, and then I feel like making that phone call would get, her Ashley off my back a little bit. She would see, I tried, I'm doing something. I made the call and then I just wouldn't get, I'd start using again. I wouldn't do anything about it. This went on for like 3 months. Finally, I had made an appointment with a nurse practitioner back home to she was like, Braxton, I've tried everything I can do to help you, and I don't believe I can help you. I can't, but if you come down here, I make you an appointment, you come down here, we'll find you a place to get you some help, because I've did everything I can do. Deep down, I wanted better, I wanted more. I didn't want to quit using or anything at that time, but of course I wanted a better life. And I'd made an appointment with her, was going to go to the appointment. Say the appointment was like on a Monday. I was going to go to the appointment. And when it came time to the appointment, I was having like, an episode from meth psychosis where I was freaking out. I couldn't even get out the door. And that's how I spent most days, was like looking out the window, feeling, paranoia or something going on. And I reached out to my ex girlfriend. She was at work and told her, hey, I can't make it to the appointment. Like I'm struggling. So she called and rescheduled. She called the doctor and rescheduled it for me. The next day, when I left to go to she made it for the next day. I left to go to the appointment. When I left, my ex girlfriend had came home, packed all my stuff up while I was at this doctor's appointment, locked the door, took any key that I had, put all my stuff on the front porch, took a picture of it, told me that she wished me the best, but she couldn't do this anymore. And for me to go do, that she hoped that I went and got some help. And that's when I was, out of pride, I said, all right, then I'm going to go to, you know what I mean? I'm going to the Eagles Nest. I'm going to go. She said I wouldn't, she didn't think I was going to go. And I went. I took a peer recovery specialist class, a PRS class, after I was in a drug court program back home in Wise County in 2018. After I graduated that program, which was a court ordered program, an outpatient recovery court program. Once I finished that, the health department had back home had some like grant money, and they were trying to get some people together and get them as certified peers. And I volunteered to do that, and I've done that. And I went to Abingdon for about a week and took the peer training class. Well, when I did, Will, who's an elder in the program, him and his wife is who taught the class. So I met him then. That was in 2018. And I remember him telling me that he, worked at a men's treatment program called the Eagles Nest. And I thought, well, that's cool and everything. And I ended up relapsing after, I got my peer recovery. So I think that was God downstream planting that seed, for me to be here. I believe that in my heart. When I realized I needed to go get some help or treatment and help, it was like almost like God had downloaded this thought in my head about the Eagles Nest. Because when I look back on it, I can't. It isn't like I had all these people coming to me telling me to go to the Eagles Nest. I'm not sure for some reason that was just the place that you know what I mean. Everything happens for a reason. I believe that He brought me up here. God did. I reached out to Will and I hadn't talked to him in years, a couple years, and he said, "Dude, he said we got a bed and a double portion of grace waiting on you." That's what he told me. Come on, bro. Yeah, this has been a journey, and it's been life changing. It's been surreal. Really, it's kind of felt like I've grew up here, or like I've matured into a man since I've been here. And that's kind of what I come up here to look for. It's been spiritual. It's been a good experience. I definitely came up here because of, to like prove a point, I think, to her. And God boxed me into this place where I felt, I was just helpless. My life had become so unmanageable and I had no clue how to try to get it together or fix it. I never like really given effort into a program or any kind of treatment, long term treatment. So I had it in my mind that I just had this feeling that if I didn't do something now, I was going to be a lifer. That's how I felt. I'm 30 years old. If I don't do something now, nothing's going to change. But this is cool. This what happened here is that when I got up here, within being 2 weeks here, the sheriff's department showed up with a protective order that Ashley had taken out on me after I came to the program. So, and then I get here and they're like, no girlfriends. You can't, we don't want you talking to no girl back home or nothing. So I think God intervened in that and made it easier for me. So, he's like, I'm gonna make it plain and clear. Like, we're gonna put this past behind you. You're like right now, this is the start of something new. I journaled about it. Anything that God said, anything that involves the old Braxton, we got to put that behind us, and move forward. And I went my whole program into inner healing without reaching out to her. And finally, I showed up in August of last year. Here it is December. I hadn't reached out to her, spoke to her, nothing. But I thought about it every day. I journaled about it all the time. And it gets time for us to go home for Christmas. And the guys, I was in Lynchburg, and Brandon Guard tells me, "Hey, is there anything that you want to talk about before you leave, so we can go ahead and get it clear?" I said, "I want to reach out to my ex girlfriend. I just want to say hello, see how she's doing, what's going on." And I suggest you don't do that. Well, as soon as they give me my phone back and I started to Wise County, I messaged her, hey, I said hey to her. She blocked me. She read it and then blocked me. So I was like, all right, I spend my Christmas furlough at home, come back to the program, get to Lynchburg. I tell Brandon Guard, I said, hey, I reached out to her. She didn't respond. She blocked me. He said, she blocked you? I said, yeah. He said, well, she responded then. And he said, now that you've got the answer you were looking for, he said, now you can put that behind you and actually work your program and do it for you. He said, welcome to the Eagles Nest. I'd been here for 4 months. Going through the regen part of the program and learning how to just take ownership for my life and accepting responsibility and realizing that my recovery was my responsibility. And no matter what kind of hand life had dealt me, I was going to play it like a winner. And I was going to take ownership for the things, for getting myself in this position. Just learning how to pause and listen to someone else talk, and while they're speaking to me, I'm not in my head thinking, what I have, what I'm going to say back, or how I'm going to to react, and learn how to respond, and just slowing down, letting someone else think for me. It was like it seemed like that. Once I guess it made me become teachable, and and just taking responsibility for my life was a big deal. And then in the inner healing phase is when I started learning the truth. You know that because I didn't become this version of myself overnight. It's been an experience. It's been insecurities. It's been depression. It's been abuse. It's been a lot of things. You know that got me here. And then in the inner healing phase, them guys helped me see that, they would have me ask myself these like four questions. Who am I? I'm a child of God. um, am I loved? Am I accepted? Am I a good man? Do I deserve a family? And God spoke the truth to me. Getting real with my feelings, sitting in my feet, like putting the drugs down was easy compared to just sitting in my feelings, getting real with everything. Well, it sucks to think that, just taking ownership for being in this situation, and blowing 15 years being an adult was tough. I wake up now, I feel it's awesome, you know. I wake up now and feel and have purpose. I remember when I didn't have any. I look at myself in the mirror in the mornings, and I appreciate who I see looking back at me. I sleep better. I sleep, I smile, I laugh. It's night and day difference. But from the life I didn't have any life. I'm starting to just appreciate everything, and I've got some value in myself now. I barely recognize myself sometimes in the mirror. Come a long way. I'm super grateful that I've got it. You know what I mean? I had this opportunity and got this now because, yeah, it's like, like I said, I felt like I was at that point of where I need to do something. I want a family. I want to be, what I mean? I want to have a good life. Yeah, I'm really grateful. It works for me. It's been working for me. The culture here, the way the guys, just the family, the way that God works up here on the hill. There's all kinds of people to look up to, and you've got all kinds of like the accountability. Just the way the program works, I feel like it's a man program. When I got here, there was a guy said, God needs strong men in the world, and that's what we're gonna make out of you. You know, and that it was just my kind of, what I mean. There's nothing soft about being in the Eagles Nest. It's hard work, but it's good. It pays off. I think everybody loves everybody up here, and everybody can see a little bit of their self, and especially in the new man that comes in. You feel appreciated and accepted, and it's different, especially if you're coming off the street and you've been out there using, and you're not surrounding yourself with anybody who really cares about you, and you get up here, and you start hearing things like "good job," or "I appreciate you, you're a good man, I love you, you can do this, I believe in you." And that goes a long way. It did for me. It was different, a little unexpected. It's hard to believe at first that that there's a group of guys up here on the hill fighting the same thing, that what I mean, fighting the same fight that you're fighting, and we're all in this thing together, aiming for a higher goal. And it's just it's great. That you don't have to live like that anymore. That you are worth it, and you are a good person and you deserve recovery. And there's another way of life, and you need to get yourself some help. You know what I mean? Take that step. When you're out there believing a lie, that's what I've learned here is that, I was believing a lie about myself, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't a normal man, you know, or I wasn't capable of living a successful life. I wasn't deserving of, relationship. Here, that's what we work on. Those are the things that we work on is we work on learning the truth. Let the Lord speak the truth to you that you are all these things that all the lies that I was believing. It was it kept me from just taking any initiative, on trying to see the best in myself. And here, that's what we work on the whole time. Is finding your worth, through Christ on being a normal man that has a family and a job and takes care of himself and has responsibilities. Dinner time, circle up, or even breakfast, circle up. When all the guys, we all circle up, do we have any announcements? That's whenever we're all and we have prayer, all of us are circle up around the room and we have prayer, and it's like we're all one in the body of Christ. And we talk about things. It's just that's when I feel that was just my favorite thing. That's when I feel the most like connected and the most a part of something. I'm not alone. I'm not in this thing by myself. I'm connected here with all these guys, and there's a lot of guys I look up to, and I see what they're doing, and I want some of what they got, you know, and that inspired me to get up every day, make my bed, being there for circle up on time. That was big for me. Just getting up and making my bed in the mornings changed the game, Yeah, I started every day off with a win, and started believing that I could do them things. But yeah, not being alone, and when you're fighting addiction, not being alone is everything, When you got some support. You'd have to walk around here with your eyes closed to not see all the support you have. I've really poured into the journal. The journal's been like a very beneficial tool. It's everything, At first, I was kind of like when I first got here, I was a little bit I was toasted, so like it didn't, and I could go back in my journal like a journey and see, how like I started, even something as small as my handwriting, started getting better. And I started just, being able to articulate my thoughts on the paper a little more. But then I realized that my relationship with God is growing, and just recently I had a journal. I mean, this is recent where God told me, "Hey, I'm closer to you now than you are with anybody, and that's where I belong in your life. Is closer than a brother." And just being able to pour into Him and listen and hear Him, taking all my problems to my journal. Everybody has problems. How many people takes them to the Lord in a journal and talks about them. And it's been everything. I've invited accountability into my life, but I've had to, what I mean, I've made some amends. That inward change happened in me, and and I started thinking about something other than myself, you know, and how my addiction has affected the people around me. And I had the inward change happen and made me want to do something about it, try to right some wrongs. We do that here, with our forgiveness letters, and it's a process, it's a part of the program to try to, go back and right some of them wrongs that you did and that you've done. And I've had the opportunity to do that in some, certain, any time that the opportunity presents itself, I take advantage of it. There's peace in that. I have a different perspective entirely did. You know what I mean? I want to be like a peer. That's my goal. I'm hoping by the end of the year to become a certified peer specialist, and I think I'm totally different as a peer. Like the peer I would be now is totally different than the peer I would have been if I hadn't relapsed this last time and went through the things that I went through, experienced the things that I experienced. And now I want to be the person that I needed, when I was out there struggling, when I was sick. I feel like that's going to keep me sober too, is to keep giving back.